beautiful until the accident. My face is forever trapped in this mask. If only there was a competition where I could drive like a maniac and I could battle others. And in battling them, maybe I'd get a wish. I'd get a wonderful wish that would allow me to be free of the mask. Yes, we're looking at Twisted Metal. This is Twisted Metal for PlayStation 3. It might just be my hope to escape the mask. First, a word from our sponsors as it helps keep the lights on.
Hey, Twisted Metal for PlayStation 3. So, this actually this game is a lot like coffee, okay? It's a lot like coffee because you're going to have to play it till you love it. But once you love it, it's actually a fun game. So, here's my experience with this one. You start out with the story, and the story is everyone is after Callisto's one wish. And Calypso holds the Twisted Metal competitions. Winner, of course, gets the wish, blah, blah, blah. And that's the way it goes. Now, there are 3 characters in this game. And this is something I don't like about it because there's only 3. I expected more. And the 3 characters are Sweet Tooth, a psychotic clown who was originally an ice cream vendor. Number 2, you have Grim, whose father was a stuntman and now he's trying to win the tournament to save his father. Or 3, you have Dollface. And Dollface is a runway model who gets horribly deformed, which actually just means a small scar here, but at any rate, and she wants to be beautiful again. So each character has their own, and this is the first thing I'm going to fault the story for, because in the story mode, they start you off with Sweet Tooth, make you play through each character story in a row. So it goes Sweet Tooth, Grim, Dollface. And that's the way you do it. I like it more with like other games, like even Mortal Kombat does this, where you choose your character on the ladder, and then it lets you play through that ladder. Win, there you go, you get the character's ending. But given that earlier Twisted Metals had like 8 or more characters, it doesn't feel like they did a really good job. They really thought this one through. I was hoping for a bit more, and I'm kind of sad there. It was very stylized the way they did these. And the way they did them was live action in areas, and I'm sure this is all green screened in, but it's pretty interesting. It's unique. You don't see much of that this day and age, so it's not your normal CGI, but still cool enough. The thing about this game is that it's a racing demolition derby, kill everything that moves game, and so with Twisted Metal, you pick your vehicle, all right? And your vehicles all have stats and whatnot, and choose something that fits not only the map, but your play style. So most of these you're going to be doing just death matches or free-for-alls. And it's not actually a free-for-all, and I'll explain that in a bit here. And so you have to kill all the other drivers by blowing up their cars, stuff like that. And drivers run out, they're on fire, you roll over them, and you get health for actually doing a mercy kill, they call it. Yeah, this is definitely not one for the faint of heart. You can also run over civilians and stuff, and you can blow up buildings. It's mass destruction. It's wanton demolition, and just destruction is what this is. So definitely a dirty game there. I don't like the balancing, okay? And this is kind of, it's hit or miss on the balancing of the cars. But I found the most overpowered, most useful is the Outlaw. Because the Outlaw's got a turret up top for its special, and that turret allows you to target any enemies around you, and it will just keep nailing on them. Yes, it does minimal damage, but when enemies start taking damage, the AI kicks in, and they start swerving off or trying to avoid it if they hit certain amounts. And so the Outlaw just seemed too useful. It didn't seem like it actually provoked you to use as many vehicles as possible. So I didn't like that about the game. Love the Talon, by the way. Love the Talon too much. Talon is a helicopter. It's the only truly airborne vehicle, and we're not including the Sweet Tooth. It's the only truly airborne vehicle, as it could fly all over the map, and it is the worst vehicle in the game if you want to take large amounts of damage. It's the easiest to shoot down, but it has the most mobility. I had a lot of fun flying all over maps, And yeah, it does extend your time actually playing a map, and it doesn't have very strong weapons, but you can pick a lot of stuff up that most other characters can't. So I did enjoy that about the Talon. As you get to your heavier vehicles, you eventually get into like the Sweet Tooth, which Sweet Tooth's a freaking transformer, guys. This sucker, it's an ice cream truck, all of a sudden turns into a giant robot running. And that was kind of weird for me because I'm like, okay, weird. The ice cream truck turns into a robot. I get it now. Now PlayStation All Stars makes sense. But, whatever, right? So, all the vehicles have something about them that, adds for a special and stuff like that. Makes them useful in some areas and not in others. Pick a vehicle. Pick a vehicle that suits your needs for the map. They have multiple types of battles. And your first one, of course, is your free-for-all. You free roam cities and stuff, and you have to shoot down enemies. Last vehicle standing wins. Okay? In addition to that, they have something called Juggernaut. And in the Juggernaut, this truck is going around the outskirts, and it keeps spawning enemies. And eventually, when you beat the Juggernaut, you have to beat all the enemies that have been spawned. The longer the Juggernaut sits, the more enemies you're going to have to contend with, which means it's going to be harder to finish the map quickly. Obviously, you want to get it down as quick as possible, and the best way to take the most damage on it is to ram it from the front with, guess what? A dark side, which is a Mack truck as well. Anything you do to hit it from the front will be more damage, but it's also higher risk to you. So, Juggernaut's an actual fun one. I don't like races. They force you into these races, and what races are is you have to get from point A to point B and then back to point A before everyone else in most of the races. And so point A, every car's got a bomb strapped to them, and if you're the first one to get to the bomb arming and then get back to the start line, you can blow up the rest of the cars, which, okay. Or you can just drive them off the road and gun them down, stuff like that. That works too, if you're skilled enough to beat every vehicle in a race. It takes a bit to get used to races, and especially since you have to do essentially the quick shot Halo hand control. So when I'm holding my control, I'm actually sticking my pointer finger on square. So this way I got my go. So this way it keeps my thumb open, because your turbo is to mash the right stick. And that's actually what I found the most comfortable. Other controls on it just didn't seem like they actually mapped out the controls. They should have let you free map, okay? That's one thing that's really missing from this game. If you could free map your controls, this would have made it a whole lot easier to play, and it would have been a whole lot more intuitive, because the controls just don't make sense. Why is it that your turbo is on a stick, and you have to pull your finger off the gas to get the turbo, unless you're doing a weird handhold on your controller? Never made sense to me, but c'est la vie, right? Additionally, there's something called a cage match. Cage match, you have to stay within this electric boundary and defeat all the enemies. If you are outside the cage for too long, your grace period expires, grace period being the time you can be outside the cage, you then start losing health until you die. Nothing more there. It's just deathmatch with the limits. Finally, there are boss battles, and there's 3 boss battles, and they kind of do this weird circle thing. So, Sweet Tooth fights Grim. Grim fights Dollface. Dollface fights Sweet Tooth. Their stories aren't really interlocked in any way, shape, or form, but let's roll with it, I guess, maybe. I had fun fighting the Iron Maiden. I thought the Grimm brothers was a little too easy, but I had fun fighting the Iron Maiden once I figured out how to do it. And it's funny because the Iron Maiden also makes a show in PlayStation All Stars, and I'm just like, that's where it's from. So I did have fun with that, and I hated the Sweet Tooth, because when you fight the last boss of the whole game is Sweet Tooth, and you have to fight underneath his vehicle, in his vehicle, race to his vehicle, and they get a talon and fight the head of his vehicle, which it felt like too many stages for this boss. I found Sweet Tooth more annoying than anything. And plus the level of difficulty on this, how to use the talons. The talon's got a second where it can pick up enemies and then drop them, and that's not very intuitive. how to use that. So I was very disappointed at having to play the Talon, playing against Sweet Tooth and trying to figure that out. It took a while, but once I finally figured it out, there you go. And this was a digital one for me. I didn't even have the instruction manual, so I had to look up all this stuff online. Not much fun. Still, though, I did enjoy Twisted Metal. Like I said, it's like coffee. It's something that, when you first try it, you're just, and eventually you start liking it. My eventually for coffee hasn't come, but I'm a tea guy, Some people like the soiled grass thing, right? Still, if you play this game enough, you'll get used to it, you'll be accustomed to it, and then it starts getting fun. I don't like loading. And this is actually a complaint I do have, and this game takes forever to check online. Let's check online, make sure you've got a good internet strength. Let's make sure that you can actually play this game. I'm like, guys, really, stop for a moment. Stop. No. I'm going to say no. Don't make me check online for when I'm just playing single player. Don't make me do that. Don't make me do a bandwidth check. If I want to go into a versus match, then yes, by all means, check my bandwidth to make sure I can support it. But if all you're going to do is just make me wait through, I think one point it actually took 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes to actually finish. That was annoying. So I'm not a fan of this. And this is actually my PlayStation 3 is just plugged into my router, which is just plugged into my modem. This is not me having to go through a whole bunch of network proxies and stuff like that. At 3 minutes on a PlayStation 3 Slim. No, this was the Super Slim model, excuse me. My PlayStation 3 Slim took longer. So, yeah. Right game for you. And Twisted Metal as a car brawl demolition derby battle is actually really fun. Like I said, I got to like this game more and more as I played it. But then we get to the morals, and that's where the game, there's a reason it's rated M. Lots of profanity. Lots of profanity. Especially with Sweet Tooth. Additionally, these characters are nuts. These characters are psychopaths, and what are they doing? They're essentially mass murdering everyone to get their wish. They don't care who they have to kill, how they have to kill them. They just want to kill everyone that stands between them and their wish. And it's not only played out through the vehicular damage, but it's also played out in the cinemas where it's more personal stuff. Like Sweet Tooth goes on a murder spree and he kills everyone in a hospital. Not friendly. Additionally, Calypso is the devil. There's no other way to put it. Calypso is Satan. Okay? Yeah, there you go. Issues with any of that, you obviously wouldn't want your kids playing it. Hey, moralgamer, moralgamer.com. Like, subscribe, comment, share, gameplay channel, review channel, links below. If you're on our website, events. We look forward to seeing you next time with our next review. Thanks for watching.
I did it. I got them all. I want my wish. My face or fame. Calypso, make me the greatest YouTuber ever. Put me to the top. I want to be above all the YouTubers. All of them. Put me above them. That's my wish. What the? Dude, seriously? The moon? This is not what I meant. What the? I'm on the friggin' moon. I meant put me at the top, number one of the...